We're friggin' nobodies. We're Jacob and Noah. We're friggin' nobodies. Welcome to our show. We're friggin' nobodies. We don't know much. We're friggin' nobodies. We're old and out of touch.
Oh, try again.
Okay. So
it's time for a violent revolution.
Yeah. This is our fourth time trying this.
We're friggin' nobodies. I'm Jacob. He's Noel.
There's going to be some in-jokes and some frustration that you're not really going to understand. But
yeah, I apologize.
His computer's deleted this 3 times now?
Twice, but we deleted it once because we screwed up.
Right. So yeah, it's been deleted by the computer despite us testing it to make sure it would work. So
we're angry.
He's angry.
That Apple or someone, I don't know.
It's Apple. It's
a violent revolution time.
Yeah, no, it's not. We're talking about it.
Is it time for a violent revolution is the point. Okay, I'm going to get through this thing and I'll read a little better this time, hopefully.
Well, I read pretty crappy the next time. The beer isn't helping.
In December of 2024, Brian Wilson, not the Beach Boys, obviously.
Fourth time I've heard this
but a CEO
joke.
of United Healthcare, an American health insurance company, was shot on the street of New York City. This was celebrated. The murderer, Luigi Mangione, was hailed by some as a hero. I can't imagine this happening 10 years ago. Sure, some social media allows us to dehumanize people as they become words and pictures on a screen more than real human beings you interact with. But this wasn't just some internet phenomenon. This was more than that. People are angry at CEOs frequently making 210 times what the average worker makes.
Where did you get that number?
I got it from Google.
You got it from Google.
It's given much higher numbers. That's a conservative estimate. Lord knows they aren't working 210 times harder. The extra education some have can't account for the discrepancy, and we feel like there is something unfair. You can only push this dynamic so far. Some people may be familiar with Franz de Waal and the studies he did with chimpanzees. He would give a piece of celery to each chimp in order to encourage them to pull a lever. Pull the lever. Then,
that's new.
With one of the chimps, he switched it to a grape, which apparently chimps love. The chimp that was still getting celery saw this and refused to pull the lever for celery, even though he was fine with this only moments before. He would shake his cage and scream at the scientists, "I want a grape." Like a protester on Wall Street, not a professor, but a protester.
There were those
on
Wall Street as well.
The sense of fairness we have is somewhat built into us. It's part of our DNA, and it can shatter us. When we see that CEOs getting grapes while the rest of us get celery, we rattle our cages too. And sometimes that rattle sounds like a gunshot on the streets of New York.
Jeez, it's good the third time around.
Kabang! People start to cheer on murder, which seems preposterous, but here we are. The only reason I've ever been in favor of taxing these people so harshly, or of concepts like a salary cap, which I'm not totally sure of, but part of me believes in it, is the pragmatist in me. I do not want to live through a violent revolution. Russia, France, America, I've read enough about these to know that they are not great times to live through. People like me and my children get sent to die so that the more powerful and charismatic among us, not hard to find those, can become the new rulers.
I guess most people.
But I've also read enough history to know that they are inevitable. These kinds of shakeups need to happen. All I want is a ratio low enough that I get a decent standard of living and we don't end up in a violent revolution. I'm not asking for much here. I frequently hear people complain about the nature of our society, the structures of our pay, chimps rattling cages, I do it. So sometimes I'll ask these people, are you ready for a violent revolution? Is it that bad yet? Well, mostly they say no. Very few people have the stomach for that kind of thing. But for how long? When CEOs get 300 times what the average worker makes, 400, 1,000, where is the cutoff? Sometimes it feels like those with the most power push this ratio as far as they possibly can just to see what would happen. Maybe, if we're inundated with enough video games and streaming services, we'll be numbed out of caring. Maybe they can push it farther, get another yacht and a private jet. I wouldn't mind one of those. The question stays with me, though. It's something I ponder. I know that the executives in the company I work for are getting bonuses that are enough to take care of my entire mortgage. In fact, their bonuses are enough that I wouldn't ever have to work again. And honestly, I wouldn't. Of course, that's one of the reasons.
Yes.
That I will never be a high-level executive or a CEO, because I know that with $1 million, I'd just retire. Maybe just work in a music shop or teach music and play some gigs like I used to do before I had kids. Well, they know, as I do, that if the carrot isn't dangled in front of me, I'd retire and leave the workforce. Many of us would. So in some ways, for society to function, to keep toilet paper in production and to keep the roads paved, things none of us would do for free, they need to keep me down a little bit. But how far can it go? How inequitable can you make it before we cheer on the murder of a CEO? Are we there yet? Can we stop it? I hope we can find a way to make it closer, to ensure that the executive class doesn't get so greedy that they force our hand. I'm not asking for communism or even extreme socialism. I don't mind capital being something we can fight for and encourage, but the ratio needs to be such that we don't have public cheering for murderers. Is that too much to ask?
You ready?
Yeah, do it again. Do it again.
I'm skipping this bit at the top.
I know. Look, I took 5.5 minutes. That's not bad.
No, it's not bad. So, is it time for violent revolution? No.
Yes.
There.
Sorry.
Problem solved?
Okay.
No, we're not doing it. The longer answer is not yet. Things have to be really bad before you start up with a violent revolution because the process is horrible, bloody, and destructive, and usually worse than the living conditions that existed before the revolution. Oh, this is new, isn't it? I had to listen to yours 3 times. You're going to listen to mine.
Showing them how to do violent revolution. You get a big bayonet. Keep reading.
Yeah. If things are tough on the poor now, or minorities, or those that exist on the fringes of society, well, when the supports of that society collapse under violent revolution, it doesn't get any better for them. Essentially, if you believe that society is beginning to collapse, that the social fabric is slowly crumbling, a revolution is just a quick way to bring that process to a quick culmination. It's like renting a house that the landlord won't repair. The roof leaks, the paint is peeling, the broken windows have been replaced with cardboard. It's cold. It's damp. You get into a fight with the landlord, and he burns the place down for the insurance money. So you kill him, because you no longer have anywhere to live.
Raskolnikov.
You don't get the house, you don't get the money, and it's going to be a long, cold, damp time before you can rebuild a shelter. If the landlord doesn't kill you first. Over and above the actual horror, death, starvation of revolution, well, what's the plan? Replace the government with what? Are we going back to kings or communism or more democracy or some idiot fool king? I don't hear any grand political movements in the works to replace our existing political infrastructure. And anarchy doesn't seem to be a great option. Strip the billionaires of their wealth. Well, it's not that simple. They aren't sitting on immense piles of money like Scrooge McDuck. Their wealth is mostly in stocks or property or some intangible but non-distributable things. And if you do catch them, and eat them, they aren't carrying their paperwork on them. Stripping them their wealth is a massive undertaking suited for governments. You won't have one of those for a while. Is everyone ready for this? Well, how many people do you need to have a successful, bloody revolution? 1,000? 10,000? I still don't know, but it's more than the 2 of us, I imagine. Whatever the number is, anything less is just terrorists or lunatics or whatever the existing society labels him as. Luigi is a good example. When he went after that CEO, there was not a huge condemnation from the public, nor was there any great movement to continue his killing spree. Luigi is in jail by himself. He doesn't have a machete. How many Luigis do you need to foment a revolution? How many machetes? More than one. But that's all I can say for certain. Is it time for violent revolution?
More than one machetes?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Oh, I've forgotten his name, the fellow who was in Machete. I love that dude. He's great.
Manny Trejo.
Manny Trejo, yeah.
Yeah, something
Danny
like that.
Trejo, that's it.
Yeah.
Is it time for violent revolution? Not yet. The Beatles chaps resolved their revolution song with, Don't you know it's going to be all right? But they were millionaires on the rising crest of social change. I'm not, and you're not. So let's just keep an eye on things for the time being before we decide to go full Luigi.
Now,
Or invest in machetes.
Now, before we start discussing this, I want to mention this week's episode is brought to you by Violent Revolution.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is great. They paid us a lot.
They did. So check out the commercial.
When words fail, it's time. Violent revolution.
Okay, so we're back.
I hope that ad was convincing or not convincing for you. I'm not sure what I hope. But
Yeah.
enjoy, and maybe that'll work for you. Now, to talk about this.
Yes. So first, and I meant to do this the first 3 times we did this, I love grapes, or at least that analogy.
I like it too.
Because you've already got the sour grapes analogy with the fox.
Yes, that's
it's
nice.
Great.
That's a nice touch. Yeah.
Yeah, because what did he want? He wanted grapes in a way that foxes normally don't. But he was striving for them. Grapes are great motivators.
They are. Grapes are delicious. I like the Concord grapes, but I'll deal with the big green, purple ones as well too. They're fine. Love all of them.
And the fact that
they're sweet. We use them in a ton of different juices,
especially wines. But the proximity of celery and salary, for your motivation,
nice.
That's a little much.
I like it.
Yeah,
you don't have to, but I think it's
I
good.
like it. But
I think it's good.
At any rate, I'm not in any position to go out and start murdering people because I think there's a great inequality. Despite this,
did you want the bayonet? I got it right here.
Despite this luxurious garage,
I have machetes too. I got 2.
I have one at home, and I have a really great S-Bing axe.
We're ready to go.
No, we're good for zombies. We're not good for revolution. They'll have rifles.
I'm pretty sure I could take out a CEO with a machete.
Yeah, if you're close.
Yeah, I got to be pretty close.
Yeah, but at any rate, I'm not in any shape for that. I don't want it. I don't think it's a great idea.
I'm old. And I got kids. I don't want my kids to have to deal with it either.
No.
I don't even know if I want my grandkids to deal with it. See, I know that...
But your great-grandchildren? Screw those little bastards
we as
right
a
now.
public are a little bit lazy. And I know that...
A little bit.
That we want to have, a lot of free time to do whatever we want. If we had enough money, we would just quit. Like I was saying about the dangling the carrot in front of us. We need... You can't just equalize everything. And I did mention that bit before about... ChatGPT told me this. I don't know how true it is. That if you added up all the wealth in the world and divided it by the number of people, it would get about 70 grand each. And I do think, according to that Matthew principle, it would kind of funnel its way back to maybe not the same people, but the same kinds of people. That sort of sociopathic type of personality you need to be the kind of person who's hyper obsessed with collecting these things. You are going to have those people regardless. They will live in your society, and you're going to have to find a way to at least placate them.
Yes. I was asked once by an apprentice that I had, because I was whining about the state of things. And he said, well, how would you fix it? Which is a terrible question to ask when all I really want to do is whine about things. Because I had to sit and think about it. And I thought, in all honesty, we don't really know much about people, their motivations, or how they work. So we don't have a real solid understanding of the mental issues that people have. So for sociopaths, this society's set up for them to succeed. You can cut the throats and the hamstrings of everyone around you, and you get ahead.
That's true.
So that's I don't know if it's hard written into our society, but they're good at it, and we need to give them a different focus, because once that wealth quality gets so big, inequality, sorry, that you end up in a terrible, terrible spot where the people at the bottom don't have enough, and they murder everybody above them.
And it seems to happen continually throughout history. So
we need to blunt or divert that motivation. And when I first brought this up to you, you did immediately mention, hey, that kind of sounds like eugenics. And I thought, oh yeah, that's where you end up. Okay, so I'm the bad guy on this one. But it's not. It's the same principle I used with my daughter when she was growing up. When she didn't want to clean her room. It wasn't that she didn't want to clean her room. It's that she didn't want to do it by herself, because that felt like a punishment. So if I said, why don't you and I go clean your room? I'd sit on the bed. I wouldn't do anything. And she would happily clean the room, because then it wasn't a punishment. It was something we were doing together. What she didn't want to do in her head and in her heart, I told her a ridiculous, well, not ridiculous, but essentially a lie to get her distracted, to say, you're not being excluded. We need to do that with sociopaths.
I need the CEO to come down and ride the forklift with me.
Oh, yeah. Let them run the night shift at McDonald's.
That'd be great. Yeah, have them come around and hang out for a little while. It's not quite the same thing, though, right? Like a king who hangs out with the poor knows he's still a king, and that in a day or two, however long he decides to do it, he's back being a king again.
Yeah.
So he's not really
Essentially,
experiencing.
I'm the king of my house, and I got my lowly servant to clean her room.
her portion of your house.
But it did cost me time, and I got to bond, and we had a good time
It's
together.
still worthwhile. Don't
Yes.
get me wrong. When Pope Francis, there were stories about him hanging out with the poor and living on the streets at nighttime and whatnot,
Yes.
leaving the Vatican or whatever place he lives in and hanging out with them. I still think it's a good thing, like just in general, to build those connections and try to understand those people a little better. Because really that's all we're asking for is a little bit more understanding. And not just understanding of like the people themselves, but of the social dynamic that we have in place.
I think in one of the 3 episodes that we didn't record, you brought up the example of Bezos and his incredible huge yacht needing to get past a bridge, which they pulled apart so he could get his goddamn yacht out of there.
No.
Now, the issue with that is...
He should just be shot.
No, I've done dumb things like this. You know, you build a boat in a garage, you can't get it out. You tear the wall down, you get the boat out. That's your problem. There was just a bad planning all around. But he's not really in a position to understand what it's like to work in one of his factories or his warehouses, because that's not how he lives.
No, he has no clue. And
his competition, his peer group economically is other billionaires.
Yes.
And it should never just be other billionaires, because once you've lost that notion of, hey, who am I competing with? And you lose track of all the poor, well, then the poor tend to equalize things out by murdering everyone who's above them. And that's a terrible revolution to be in.
Well, he's of the opinion that all the poor people that work in his warehouses, if they worked hard like he did, they could be like him.
Yeah.
So what? Everybody who works for Amazon's all going to grow up to be a Jeff Bezos if only they worked that hard? It's preposterous. There's only a small number of people that could ever be that rich and powerful.
Yeah.
You no matter how hard you work, you can't have everybody becoming that way. It's
and I
ridiculous.
have this on a very good source. If you took all the wealth on the planet and divided it equally, we'd only have $70,000.
And it all get funneled back to the rich again anyway.
That Bezos guy screws us in the future, too.
And Matthew, too. They're both a bunch of jerks.
Yeah, jeez.
So the thing is...
Oh, yeah, good. We got lots of time.
We're not asking for much. All we're asking for is, because like I was saying last time about the billionaires too, when you brought them up, it's not just them. The executive class is competing with them, and they're trying to get up there. So those executive classes, like I was saying, in the company I work for, I get a 10% bonus. So hypothetically, say I make $100,000, my bonus would be $10,000. An engineer, high-level engineer, theirs would be $15,000 because they get a 15% bonus. And this bonus increases. So the inequity...
There's no way it would ever go to 10 times your salary, though,
It does. Yes, it does. So it doesn't just change. Like, now, obviously, their bonus is going to be more than mine because they get paid more than me. So their 10% is more than my 10%. Flat out.
Yes.
But their percentage is also higher. It's
good math, by the way.
And it gets to the point where at the high-level executives, they are getting 100, 200, 300, many times their salary. You know, at one point in time, Don Lindsay got a $1.5 million a year.
Well, let's not get into specific examples. We've got ChatGPT for that.
Which is pretty good. 1.5 million a year is okay. His bonus was 10 million.
It's a really good bonus.
That's crazy. Like, I could just imagine if my bonus was $900,000 or something like that. I'd be sitting pretty right now is what I'd be doing. And I wouldn't say no. Don't get me wrong.
We'd be in a better garage.
I'm, sure, you call me a hypocrite if you want. I wouldn't say no, obviously, because I could pay off my mortgage
It
and
wouldn't
take
be
care of my
hypocritical.
family.
It would just be greedy.
Be a little bit greedy.
Yeah. And that's fine.
But nonetheless, the fact remains, so those people are struggling to get higher and higher to that class. They want to be, they're competing. The billionaires aren't competing with them, but they are competing with the billionaires.
No, they're keeping them out.
And they will gladly ensure the people down in the mines are making less so that they can make more.
What's incredibly frustrating is there's a whole culture of people that want to appear to be in that, in terms of influencers, that will just go to play. I've seen lineups of people. God, I sound like an old person. Good thing I am an old person. I've seen lineups of people at fantastic tourist spots that are just beautiful to look at. Lines that just spiral up so they can take pictures as if they live there and are living a fantastic life. It's the same with the Everest people. The people are like, I climbed Everest. Look at how cool I am. And you go and look during the climbing season, and it's an endless line of assholes
Oh,
with
yeah,
Sherpas
yeah,
carrying
yeah,
all their
yeah.
stuff up there so they can snap a picture and say, I did it.
It's
through
crazy.
determination, free will.
The wealth that is wasted on these things is
It was just for the appearance.
phenomenal.
It's just the appearance of wealth. It's not even. We are trying
There
really
was
hard.
even a blind guy that did it. They could have just put him in a windy room and told him he climbed Everest. They didn't even have to actually do it.
What we need to do is find someone for people who come up with ideas like that. Same with the sociopaths, but in a positive way for society. I mean, we are clearly, we're displaying the wealth and prestige that we have, but.
Oh, yeah, this is a wealthy room. If you were to be here looking at this room, you could see
Well, there's not a lot of clutter.
it's a bag of beer cans over there. And,
Yeah, that's money, though. That's just flaunting wealth.
well, it's like $6 at least.
Yeah, true. Oh, there's also all those heavy metal magazines.
The heavy metal magazines from 1976 to 1986.
But
pretty
he
much a
didn't
full
even
collection.
buy them. They were just given to him.
Yeah, my buddy Wayne gave them to me. Shout out to Wayne Kelly. He probably doesn't watch the channel, but he was a great guy. Still
He
probably
should.
is out there somewhere, all retired and living. He's not living a Don Lindsay or Jeff Bezos life, but he's doing fine.
In fact, it's worse because he gave away all those heavy metal magazines. Anyway, we're up to 10 minutes here.
We're up to 10 minutes.
And,
20 minutes.
oh, yeah, because we had that commercial.
There
That's
was
right.
the commercial, and then we talked before. So, anyways, it's time for a violent revolution. Go out, start.
Wait, maybe not. Visit our
Doing your-
sponsor, though. See what they have to say.
Are you angry? Are you finding that the growing wealth divide is crushing the middle class and making groceries impossible to afford? Have you found that conversation isn't really working anymore? Have you considered violent revolution? It's worked before.
Doing that kind of stuff.
This is such nonsense.
I like flashing it.
I like how you struggle to get it back in its
I don't
sheath.
have guns and stuff, so that's all I got to flash.
I have a real nice Esping axe at home. I
Yeah.
love it. Single, solid piece.
Is it
Great.
good for revolution?
No, it's good for zombies.
Anyways, try
Yeah.
not to cheer on murder.
Yeah, unless it's zombies. You can
I'm
murder
going to
them.
add one last thing. I believe that murdering a person, no matter how bad they are, screws you up as a human being. Something in your soul breaks when you do that, no matter how bad. Even if I was defending my family from a horrible human being, if I were to go and shoot that person and save my family, that'd be good.
You know why?
But
It would suck
something
so
would
bad
break
for you because
inside
you
of
used
me.
this finger gun, which is like the weakest of the finger
I
guns.
don't think
You gotta
it's a
use
good
that
thing.
finger gun. Look at how strong
What
it
if I
is.
had a double finger gun?
Yeah, that's strong. You feel good about that. Also, don't work for grapes. As much as grapes came up,
It's not actually a good payment
no,
system.
you can't feed
No.
your family on grapes.
It's like tulips. You can't just rely.
Well, there's a lesson in there economically as well. But we're not getting into that.
Okay. Anyways, cheers. Love you guys. I hope you don't get murdered or murder. I hope you don't do either of them things.
Yeah, let's just stay away from the murder thing.
Yeah.
There's a rule somewhere about it, but you'll have to look it up.
It's not really time for a violent revolution.
No, it's not. See you next week.
Cheers.